great. I mean, it was a wild time. My father passed like the day before, so I got my family in the room, and I was like, I just got this like, should I do this? And my dad was so for me in the late night. He's like, I ain't gonna make it. Yeah, that was a special moment for me to be able to
Hot Breath. What's goody, Hot Breathiverse? Welcome back to Hot Breath, the show where you learn comedy from the pros. I'm your host and comedian Joel Byers, and after over 400 interviews with comedians on this show, we are doing our first live event. And to celebrate our first live event, we are bringing back our first guest ever. Way back in 2017, this comic came on the show after opening for Dave Chappelle, being on NBC's Last Comic Standing, and winning Laughing Skull Fest. Since Hot Breath, he has gone on to be on Jimmy Fallon, James Corden, written for several television shows, and he just recently recorded his debut comedy special. Ladies and gentlemen, Hot Brethren and Sistren, welcome to the Hot Breathiverse, Mr. Rob Haze, everyone. Rob Haze! Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wow, man.
Welcome,
what an intro.
Welcome.
That was amazing.
Yo.
You got water?
We out here. You like that? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You wanna, should we kick it off with some?
Yeah, let's keep. I hope this is water.
This is water. Cheers. Cheers to the first guest.
Oh, I messed that up.
No,
I definitely
you
drank
good.
before the cheers.
This one's a little bit different from the first one we did.
Right.
Yeah.
There's less people.
But we were in a concrete room. It
Right.
was like an old classroom that I had where I was teaching comedy, and you pulled up and did the first ever. It was on borrowed equipment that it wasn't even mine. And
Wow.
we made it happen.
Yeah.
And now look at us.
400.
Yeah, we're 400 now, dude. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot of breath.
A lot of hot breath.
Yeah.
But that's why I wanted to celebrate this with you, man.
Man, thank you. Thank you for having me on your 400. Also, just, first guest coming back.
Yo, I mean, I've been following your career since the jump and actually just watched your comedy special taping. And I've got to say, what I noticed from that versus seeing your early comedy is how much more personal and autobiographical it is now. Is that, I remember even on your Fallon set, you had one of my favorite bits is are we swiping or chipping the cards, and then I watch your special and it has a lot more personal and close stuff to Rob. Is that an intentional evolution, or how did you kind of get to that point in your career?
Not at all.
Yeah.
For the longest, I think one of my fights was fighting against you gotta be I'm this person and I look like a cross between blah, blah, blah and blah, blah, blah. And all the stuff that they tell you to do in comedy, I always felt like they only tell certain people to do that. It's only, like black people, they gotta get on stage and be address the fact that they're black. And I never thought that should be the elephant in the room. And then I kind of just got away from elephant in the room mentality, just period, and everything was abstract. And then after a while, it was I have an opinion on everything. Do I have opinions on what happened with me? Do I have opinions on my life? And then I started to form those, and then it was I never have to worry about, I had an issue with a comic accusing me of stealing a joke. And I was even unaware that this person was a comedian, let alone their joke. And so, from that experience, I was I need to do things that are more specific to me. When I was on Last Comic, that was one of the things that they said, I don't know anything about you, but you're funny, And so I think that's why I didn't advance, because I didn't have those autobiographical things. And now I'm if somebody steals that, they're stealing a part of my life.
Yeah.
They're out there they're out there putting my past in their story, which is nuts. That's a crazy thing to do. you know?
How do you decide what to talk about and what not to?
I think for this special, I had like some stuff on the board. There was some things that I knew I wanted to get to, and you know, from that, it was way easier to accumulate material with a singular goal in mind, and then also other little small goals. So it was more of me deciding what I wanted to talk about first, and then figuring out the funny in that.
Oh, interesting.
And it used to just be me finding the funny in things and then stringing those things together.
So you write something serious about your life, and then you figure out what's funny about it afterwards.
Not necessarily serious, just things that are interesting. Yeah, it's not necessarily serious. It's just like, what are the most interesting things? What are the things that I hold on to? When did I have a reaction? When did I feel embarrassed? Or when did I feel scared? Or when did I feel lonely? Or when did I feel excited? Or when did I feel hyped? You know, it's just all those things.
So to compare that to like the swiping and the chipping card joke you have, which is hilarious, but that probably started from a personal place too, right? Of like, oh, I'm at the grocery store and they're asking me if I'm slipping and
right. It's an observation,
but it's not. It's something anyone could say, I guess.
But it's an observation anyone can make, you know, and an observation that like, you know, there was probably tons of jokes about it. It's just I figured out maybe the funniest way to say it, or the funniest way to intro it. Like it's one of those jokes. Well, the setup is funny, and you know, they're already laughing before you even get to the joke part.
Yeah, which is a part of it is like your persona on stage too, though. Of it is like I think what I've learned, because I've known you basically since you
started together. We used to trade books and comedy albums and stuff, real comedy nerd stuff. Like you know, we were all broke. And so, you know, streaming didn't exist. And so it's like, hey, I have this Redacted Comedians album. You have the same Redacted Comedians other album. Let's trade, you know, and yeah, we would share comedy.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we I remember we shared some Cosby albums at one time.
All right, no longer redacted.
I don't think I knew what redacted meant.
I was striking it from the record, but you know, yeah.
I didn't know what redacted
There were also some prior albums in there. There were also some other stuff. It wasn't just, we weren't just Cosby heads.
No,
you know,
no,
we were comedy heads. Like I had some George Carlin. We had some Stephen Wright. We had all. If you made an album, we were circulating.
We were. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I now know what redacted means.
Yeah, man. I don't know where you were when Trump was around. So a lot of things were being redacted.
Where do you think I was?
Yeah. 5 years ago, redacted was a hot, funny term in these streets, Joe.
Anything with Trump is very triggering for me, so I can't be out in there looking like this. You know,
I got you.
But yeah, you know, because I look like this, but you know.
You know, his ops look like you too. There's a whole other team that look exactly like their team. It gets really confusing. I'm so happy when they wear blue ties and red ties. Like, all right, cool. I know exactly what side he's on. Yeah.
I get it. We all look the same. I get it. Yeah.
When y'all put collars on. You know, the T-shirt ones you can kind of tell, like, he ain't in the Senate. You know what I mean? The T-shirt a little too loose, you know. But I knew you in your T-shirt era. Now look at you.
Yeah,
you look good.
Goodwill, dude. I was a Goodwillionaire.
Yeah. Maxinista.
Maxinista.
You know?
Yeah. You know the jokes. Doing the strip. Did you do the strip club show at a candy shop?
I did it. I did Candy Shop. Yeah. I don't like when they make the strippers stop dancing and then put the mic in our hands. I would much rather just have if somebody really needs a dance, them to get a dance, and also us to happen to be telling jokes. Yeah,
it was awkward though. They did it for a minute. I went every single Monday too.
Yeah, no, I didn't go. I would hear about it. I was very curious, and then I finally went, and I was like, yeah, this is not, you know.
Well, you were the cool
my
kid,
core
though.
demographic.
You got on the cool shows. I had to go do like the strip clubs and the sidewalks and stuff.
If I would have. I would like if that's the only stage available. I'm gonna go to the strip club for sure.
Well, how did that compare to? Because like we did all the rough shows in Atlanta, but then you moved to New York, and now you're like living in a 2-bedroom apartment with 4 comics, and like you're grinding out there. What? How did those grungy shows compare to like here in Atlanta?
They're different because in New York, there's shows and then there's mics. Mics, only comedians go to mics. Like if a person goes to a mic, they're probably gonna leave soon. Because it's like, oh, this is a club meeting. Like I'm in the wrong place, you know. But the way to get on shows, doing well at mics. You know, like moving to New York, you almost just instantly learn how to showcase. You know, if you don't already know how to showcase, because you're trying to get on shows, so you're in front of real people. But the only way to do that is to prove yourself in front of people who are at various levels of doing stand-up. So some people, you know, are really good. They just haven't moved on to shows or enough shows to get enough reps to feel like they're, you know, making progress. There's other people brand new. They're starting out. And in comedy, everyone assumes you're new until they know you. All my comments are like, hey man, get off of him. He's just starting out. And it's like, no, like you could scroll down. I mean, you know. But that's just the assumption, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I did a paid mic in New York where it was in like the basement of a bar.
Oh, those are the worst.
I went last.
Those are the worst.
I went last out of like 20 comics. So by the end, it was me and just the host left.
No one there
Everyone
forgot
left.
they paid.
Yeah.
No one's ever seen somebody so funny that they're like, I forgot I paid to be on stage, you know? That's the real advantage we have on rappers. Like when rappers start off, they gotta pay to perform places all the time. And they see how many shows we do and they're like, man, you are rich, you know? And like you know, like we do bringer shows just like rappers do when they start. Like here all the time I would see, you know, like up and coming rappers performing at different clubs and stuff. It's like, yo, that grind is expensive. But yeah, in New York there was 1 or 2 paid mics, but they were not fun. That's when I felt like, all right, I'm at, you know, this is the bottom. I left a place where I was getting paid to perform. Now I'm paying to perform, you know? Yeah.
What kept you going?
Knowing that experience will lead to something. That one joke, that one tag, that one rhythm I got used to saying something was going to pay for all of it.
And when did you realize, oh, this is actually like paying off and it's not just me mentally rehearsing?
Well, I mean, I already had spurts throughout. When I moved to New York, I was doing colleges. I was, you know, paying for stuff off of comedy. You know, I went to 8 festivals that year, all financed off of comedy, you know. So I just thought that was going to translate. I was going to go up there. What I didn't anticipate was colleges not, you know, having a time period where I didn't book as many schools and having to kind of start over, get a day job, you know, was a mover, was answering phones, I was working at a high school, just whatever little jobs I can get, you know, and just figuring out how to be free at night and pay bills. That was the whole thing.
When were you able to make it full time? Because I think I heard you talk about you actually sold scripts at one time and then had to go back and like get a day job.
Yeah. So I sold 2 scripts, had to go back, hey, tip service. I know I told y'all I didn't need y'all anymore. You know, I be out here playing, you know. Like it's gotten real, whatever you got, you know. they'd send me to take notes. They'd be like a credit card company with, have different surveys and stuff, and I'm taking notes. Never been a note taker before. Never did. I'm in Excel pretending like I know what I'm doing and just all kind of stuff. But from there I learned, to save my money and start a company and start a business and some of those things and also just because you got it now doesn't mean you'll get it again or you'll get it somewhere else, and just saving a penny for a rainy day. And then putting that first album out helped out a lot.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know that. I didn't know like how much an album was gonna change my life, but that first album really made me kept me full time. Like there were other things I started writing on shows, and so but I don't have to move like a writer. Like other writers, after a while, they're like, all right, I got to get in a room. I can kind of pick and choose what rooms I'm in to a degree, or what I'm going to go out for to a degree, because I have live shows and I have, the album and stuff.
So how were you able to, because it was Hazepedia, right? That was the album? So what
Still available on iTunes,
Let's go.
If y'all want to purchase it, wherever you purchase music, you can purchase comedy. People don't even know that.
Yeah.
We pay money to a musician fund. Like a percentage of our check goes to session musicians. Nobody played the drums on my album. That's just money gone. They set up the structure. I'm like, yo, I mess with that union. We stuff is possible,
Yeah, what were you blowing money on? It sounds like you said early on you.
I was flying people out. I was,
like Gucci Mane over here.
I was buying stuff. I was buying the homies kicks. It was like I was doing all kind of stuff.
You were on.
I thought I was on. This is the thing. One of the shows got like picked up. It was really it was about to happen. We were interviewing people. I was gonna be somebody's boss. My first room, I was gonna be kind of in charge, but also hey, can I do that? All right, cool. Hey, this is what we about to do. It was gonna be crazy. Dang. So people, I would get bumped on shows. I'd be like, they don't even know. I'm gonna be that guy's boss next week. You know what I'm saying? Nothing's affected me, but also so free on stage. I was so funny. And that everybody stressed out about Montreal. I already did Montreal. Also, I know I'm about to get this article, and when this article comes out, it's gonna be a wrap. I'm gonna get on every good show in this city. So I think the attitude that I had at that time, I didn't forget that. Because I feel like that's important. Knowing that it's gonna be all right is important. Knowing that, it's gonna work out, in the confidence that comes with that, I feel like I still have and still can reach into even when I don't know how.
So what are you if something is a low, because comedy is so up and down. Dude.
It's so up and down, but it doesn't have to be so up. You can only go down so many times before you're like, all right, I'm gonna figure out how to not go all the way down. I might hit the top of the slide, but eventually I'm gonna be in the slide like this. I ain't going back down, Joe. I'm not going all the way back. I might slip, but I ain't gonna fall. You know what I'm saying?
Cool. So you bought homies kicks. I didn't get any of those. That's all right. I feel you. Yeah. But
I didn't think you wanted them, honestly.
Yeah, I
didn't think you wanted them, Joe.
That was back in the Goodwill
days. You wouldn't
days.
appreciate it.
Yeah. So what do you do now? How are you? What with the lessons you've learned? How do you move differently?
I don't wild out. I don't, I think early when you're in your 20s, it's your most selfish time, and you are only worried about in the moment. You know, you're not worried about months down the line, years down the line. Like right now, I move where like, hey, something happens and you know I can't physically write. I'll be okay for at least a little while. Hey, if something happens and I can't go on the road, I'll be okay for a little while. And so I just move differently. You know.
Yeah, I remember in our first interview, and this was, over 7 years ago, but it was like you had already talked about goals you're setting and how you already had achieved a lot of them. So you're like, I need to start thinking bigger. Do you still, like, how important is mindset to your success?
Very important, very important. I remember I had a notebook and I wrote down 10 goals for me in comedy, and then that notebook got stolen. And then, by the time like 5 years later, I had achieved all those goals. It was like, oh yeah, I need to like dream bigger and think bigger. But I think also like when we started, there was so little avenues for stand up. Like, there wasn't, any black comedy shows. There wasn't, Last Comic was here and then gone. They had like a 4-year hiatus or whatever. They weren't consistent season after season after season. There was just like one showcase show on Comedy Central. Like internet videos hadn't of, it was kind of more of it was a thing, but it wasn't like it is now. It wasn't, social media wasn't what it is now. And so, at that time, it seems like there's only one way to move. Now there seems like there's so many different avenues. There's so many different ways of, making it.
Yeah, and I think that's what I learned seeing everything you're creating now is it seems like you're able to create things around your interests. Like,
yeah.
And you're like, instead of trying to chase a trend, it's like, well, what am I interested in and how much can I create around these interests?
Also, I'm showing off a little bit.
Oh, you're flexing.
Yeah, I'm flexing. Because I don't want people to think I'm performing in rooms where they're like, I want to hear about Wolverine. I want people to think, yo, he got that Wolverine joke off in front of adults. Like they drinking, they got kids at home. He out there talking about Wolverine, it's hitting. Like that's what's going on.
Yeah.
But also it's like, I feel like the special is what's in the margin of the page, right? Like the special is like the important stuff. And everything else is in the like outside margins is stuff I would just like release. So all those clips, all those videos are stuff that's like, that's on the outside. Mm-hmm. That's not even the focus. I might perform a 15-minute spot. A minute of that 15 is what goes out as the clip, but the rest of the 14 is going towards something bigger, And so for the longest, I was only able to show the middle of the page. Mm-hmm. You see me do a late night spot. You see me do a showcase on TV. It's the middle of the page. And no one got to see what was in the margins. So now I'm able to show people, oh, I can do topical jokes. Oh, I can talk about politics. Oh, I could talk about something that happened today. Or I could talk about something that happened, in the last week. Or I can show a different angle of something, that everybody's talking about. And I've always been doing that. It just, I had no outlet to put that out before.
Mm. Do you find yourself almost writing for the algorithm?
No.
Yeah.
No, I'd be doing this place would be packed if I was writing for the algorithm. I achieved right my goals.
We take these chairs, it's sold out.
I wanted it to be this amount of people here,
That was the plan.
I'm writing what I want to write about.
Yeah.
I'm writing what I want to write about. Yeah. And I'm figuring out how to get it off. I was fortunate. I did a show that was like right after an NBA Finals game, and I was able to do 10 minutes on basketball premises that I would never be able to get off in front of just an average crowd of people, you know. And if I did, it would be after maybe 15, 20 minutes of work, you know, of trust,
Right.
for me to do that. And then maybe it would hit whether they want to hear about it or if they don't want to hear about it. So there are some times where I do have some things that are specialized, but in those moments I get to flourish. You know, there was a time you do an event like that and you just brag about it and it goes away. Now it's like, oh, I could chop that up. Now I got fans that, you know, care what I think about basketball, care what I think about sports.
Yeah, because you wrote for like the ESPYs, right?
I wrote for the ESPYs, NFL Honors. Yeah, I had a show on Bleacher Report, Sneak This. We had sketches all about sneakers and, you know, especially like athlete performance sneakers and stuff. So, yeah, I, you know, technically work in sports and have worked in sports for a long time. But, you know, that doesn't mean people know what you do. That doesn't mean, you know, like somebody watching an award show, they still don't really know who did what and what is what. And so now I get to showcase that.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a good time for a hot breath water break. Please, if anyone wants to drink
Are you
water,
selling these? Is this available to the people? Is this an ad right now? Are we presented by Hot Breath Water?
I mean, anyone in the audience, if y'all want to pay for them, that's cool too.
Which is a wild name. Which is a wild name for water, Hot Breath Water.
That's legit, actually.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad idea. Maybe we just had a big business break.
Hey,
right there.
you know I got to get a percentage. Y'all seen the pitch? That's really what this is about. Y'all thought it was an interview. I just wanted to document my pitch for Hot Breath Water. That's what all the kids are talking about. You like hot Cheetos, you need to wash them down. Hot Breath Water. That's the only way to cool it down. Once the flaming hots get to you, you just got to go to Hot Breath Water.
We the plug.
Yeah, I'm gonna invoice you after this, so you know.
Yeah, holla. Yeah, I need some. I need some new sneaks.
This how you gotta sit when you get interviewed in a couch like this. You gotta cross your legs. Like I don't never cross my legs. My foot's gonna go to sleep. I'm just really doing this because of the couch.
When I interviewed Ali Sadiq, he taught me that that's apparently disrespectful. When you point your bottom of your foot towards someone, apparently that's disrespectful. Because I was doing that to him, and he let me know very quickly that is not the move with Mr. Sadiq.
Okay.
But we cool in here. I was just letting you know.
Hey,
if you cross,
I
if you cross the wrong
apologize
line,
to the people at home. I didn't mean to point my foot in y'all direction. You know what I'm saying? Continue to support me. I do need it. It will never happen again. Like I ain't gonna do it no more. I promise. Where am I supposed to point my feet? Your feet are always pointed somewhere.
It's the bottom of the foot.
Oh, the bottom
of your foot. Yeah. Is what he was saying. Because I guess that's the dirtiest part of your shoe. Yeah.
That is true. There was a girl I sat next to in elementary school, and I would like pick out like Nike shoes have the little like thin herringbone things. I would like pick out the dirt in my shoes. She thought I was nasty.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
She's been a sneakerhead since then, like that. I know you're always into them.
You could diagnose me as that. That's probably the coolest thing to say for that.
Yeah.
Is
an addict?
sneakerhead. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But Ali, because Ali's intimidating. So, like,
right.
you know, when he says something, you listen.
Yeah.
And I'm just in a hotel room with just Ali Sadiq. I was like, he could kill me right now, and no one would ever know or care.
I mean, you were recording.
But, I mean, he could destroy the evidence. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But he's also one of these, when you're talking about social media, he's one of these, like, OGs who actually use social media after actually having the skill to like showcase on social media. Like so many young comics now are like just filming open mic crowd work and being like, oh, how do I get on?
Yeah.
You know, it's a different game than when we started.
It is a different game. I'm so glad I didn't start in this era.
Me
and
too.
That pressure.
Yeah.
You know, because it was hard at that time to hold on to jokes that you thought were good enough to like commodify. And now I wonder if there's anybody having those talks about, hey, don't put everything out. And then other people like, hey, I put everything out and now I'm touring, you know, and what those conversations are like, you know?
What was your transition into the writing side of things? Because like you're what they call like a multi-hyphen. You know, you're able to do multiple things, which is aspirational for like definitely someone like me who wants to have multiple things going on. So like how were you able to expand to the writing side?
I was able to expand to the writing side just through applying. I was applying for years, and then I finally got the perfect job for me, which was Sherman Showcase, which is a sketch show based on a dance show, like a Soul Train. But everything's a joke. The songs are jokes. The commercials, the music artists. We created all the music. We did a lot of work on that show, but it was so much fun and just so perfect for my skill set as somebody who's obsessed with the past and also just a music lover. It just was a perfect fit. And then from there, I've been working and writing ever since. Some of the contacts I made there, I met and was able to write on special events and award shows and yeah, it's just been on from there.
Did you move to LA for that gig?
I didn't. I was bi-coastal during the first room. And, like it was cool to leave the room. Say your idea got shut down. You go to the comedy club, get your rocks off, come back rejuvenated. We had another room like during the pandemic. And then it was like, oh, this is what other writers feel when their stuff gets shot down. This is a long ride home. Like I'm not back. There's no comedy club to go to right now. Like this is wild. But yeah, I was bi-coastal. I was living in New York, but writing in LA. And then I ended up getting in the room on another show, and I was planning on moving to LA later that year. And so then I moved. And then that show, they pulled the plug on it like 6 days into the room. So the second Monday of the room, they have a phone call. They're like, go on break, which happens all the time. A lot of people busy. Every boss I've had has had 3 or 4 other things going on. They got to leave, take a call. They come back, we all come back. They're like, yep, no more show. So now I'm just out in LA. And I don't know when the next room is gonna happen, and so I'm just like, fortunately they paid us out for the duration of the time, but I'm holding to that money like this. I'm like, I don't want to go back to the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I'm just like, living very, very conservatively and just getting on stage. Mm-hmm. I got so rusty that first room, just being in LA and just, there's not that much stages and stuff. And me, I was like hardcore. Like first week in Atlanta, I was going up 4 times a week. I got up to like 7 to 10 times a week when I moved. I was at like 12 shows a week when I was, left New York. So those 2-3 months of that room, that was the most time before COVID I ever spent not getting on stage. And I came back to New York with all the rust. So rusty, Started doing stuff from like well before it started. Hey man, Michael Vick, Tiger Woods, like what are my jokes? You know what I'm saying? What do I talk about, man? Obama, man, he did it. Yes, we can. Like I'm going back to the beginning. You
brought the kazoo back.
Yeah, everything.
Rob had a kazoo back in the day.
I used to bring a kazoo to shows. If I didn't like the song I was brought up to, I'd be like, "Don't worry, I got it. I'll play my own song," and then start playing the song on the kazoo. Yeah. But then after that, figured it out, and then like that's the momentum that led to Hazepedia. Yeah, me getting the rust off, And
was that a goal in your head of like, all right, I'm back in New York, I'm rusty, here's how I can break this rust off? Or?
No, it was just like, this is what I do. Yeah. I'm back. I gotta get nice. I gotta get back nice again. You know, like I can't, you know, I can't just be out here living, spending money and not, you know, not right at stand up. I can't be going on shows rusty. I found a club, highly frowned upon. Nobody really, you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna run into your Dave Chappelle's. You're not gonna run into Jim Chappelle at this club. You know what I'm saying? They let me perform like 7 times a night, you know?
Dang.
Like they out here tricking people in the streets and being like, yo, Bill Burr's working on a new hour. People come in, they leave, they upset, you know? They bring me up last and people like, he ain't Bill Burr. Now they pissed, but they let me perform. I would go up there, you know, and also just whatever shows I could, I got that rust off. I got that rust off quick, you know. I feel like in a week in New York, I can get to decent shape. And then, you know, after that, I could really get in like a really good rhythm. Cause it's also the city. Also getting off the train, you thinking about your jokes the whole time. You don't gotta worry about finding a place to park. You don't gotta worry about driving. You know, you're just in joke mode. You leave, hop off the stage, you're still in joke mode till the next time you're on the stage, you know?
Yeah.
When I visit now, I do like 3-4 shows in a night, and it's like, it's incredible, yeah.
How did the Fallon situation come along? 'Cause you've done Fallon and Corden.
Yeah.
So how did you kind of get into that world?
I went for every late night show.
That's interesting. So that's an interesting theme of like, how did you do this thing? You're like, well, I tried at it for a long time and then finally got it.
Yeah,
It's just an interesting thing I don't think people understand.
Every late night show told me no. You know, one of them ended, everybody was posting their pictures. I put up the notes that I got, you know, like every late night show like passed, you know, I would go back and forth with one. They'd see me in person, they'd be like, oh nah, this ain't what we thought it was. You know, like, you know, it was a little of the materials, a little of just what I've already burned on television. I'd already done what, you know, at one time was my best thing here, at another time what my best thing was there. And so there was that. And so then after a while, I just started gunning for it. I was just like, all right, I'm going to I can't control whether I get booked. I can control what I work on. And I was like, I'm gonna make a set that's so undeniable. If I don't get it, at least like I will know it has nothing to do with the set. So I'm gonna do the autobiographical joke. I am gonna do the, clean premises, no company names, no cursing, no, like everything in the guidelines of, all the stuff that people trip on with late night, original premises, not hacky, like all the things. And I'm gonna work on that every night in front of people who don't care about that at all. When you do stand up in front of live people, they don't care about, oh, he's getting ready for late night. They don't care about that. You better be funny now. So I gotta be funny now, but I'm putting the NBC, ABC, CBS rules on me.
And that's what translated. Eventually you created a set that they were just like, oh, this is too good to not.
I did a showcase for E, and it was just an E showcase. They were just trying to see who was around. I actually was doing a weekend in DC. I had to take the bus to New York and fly out of New York because they flew me from New York. I didn't want to get sent back to DC or whatever. And so then I took the bus to the plane. I get on the plane, hot, burning up. I get sick on the plane because I got all these clothes on because I just came from like DC and New York in the winter. And so then I, barely get myself together. They have me stay in this nice hotel by the Comedy Store. I finally just can like move. I get to the Comedy Store. I do the showcase. 10 minutes, all late night, available, like crushed. Mm-hmm. The booker for the Tonight Show comes backstage. He's like, I thought you were in New York, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I am in New York. He was like, can you do that set next week? And then the next week, I did that set at the Stand. Jimmy Fallon was there. And from that showcase, I was the first person they called to do the Tonight Show.
Yeah. 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 It must have felt validating.
It felt great. Yeah. I mean, it was a wild time. My father passed like the day before. So I got my family in the room and I was like, I just got this great news, but, should I do this? And my mom and sister were like, yeah, you should, and my dad was so for me doing late night, and, he used to send me other people's clips. He would take on his phone and be like, Dad, it's gonna be on YouTube. Like, you don't gotta record it, But he was so hyped, and I remember telling him about the showcase and everything, because, that was a time where I could have been with him, but I wasn't. I was, doing the showcase and everything, and he was like, I know you're gonna make it. I know you're gonna make it, and so, that was a special moment for me to be able to do that, and I definitely had a moment before I walked out there where I thought about him, but so getting that call was like, it was it did feel validating, and I did have a chip on my shoulder, and I did have the opportunity to talk about it on the show, but I didn't want to do that. Like, I didn't want to make that moment about tragedy, because I felt like I earned it outright. I felt like when I got it's not like the coroner calls Fallon's like, well, we know this guy just did a showcase, and boy, do I have a story for you. That's not what's happening. So I didn't want people, comic brain, you always think about comics, I didn't want comics to be like, man, he doing that, because of what's going on with him, and I didn't want that. But, sometimes I do think, oh, might have went viral. Sometimes I do think might have put butts in the seat. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Could have helped us out today.
There might have been, there might have been an angel looking out for me.
Yeah.
But, I guess I got integrity.
Dang, man. Yeah. I guess that's got to change the way you move, though, and the decisions you make and what you actually say yes to.
Yeah.
Prioritizing what's worth your time and making sure you're around family more and things.
Right. Yeah, I was also thinking about the people who were watching. All the people that I knew were watching, and how icky it would be to, for them, like finally a distraction from this thing that happened, and then it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
what if I would have cried?
What if you would have cried?
What if I would have cried?
Were you thinking about it?
I'm just thinking, like, what if I would have went up there and cried? Like, I almost cried up here. Like, that's...
Yeah. You want to do a second take where
the
you
rooster would have went off. The door would have... People would have been knocking on the door if I would have started crying. They'd be like, yo, we got it. Somebody crying in there? Oh, yeah. No, I want to see that. But, yeah, I don't dwell on it too much.
Yeah. How long ago was that?
That was 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Come on, man.
Pour one out.
Come on.
Come on, man. Pour one out.
You out there, you eating hot fries. We know you are. You watching this, you eating hot fries, and one water you need, hot breath water.
Already.
It's so good. Oh my God. What kind of water is that?
That's that loud.
That's that loud.
That's that loud pack.
Woo, that's an exclamation point. I didn't even.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, man.
Ooh, that pressure.
Hot breath water.
That pressure. We
Ooh-wee.
pushing P around
Hot
here.
breath water.
We pushing P around here.
I think that might be passe. I don't know.
Pushing P?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
Oh,
it might.
pause. Should we pause?
I'm just saying, you know, pushing P is way more divisive than it was early 2022. It was making way more of a statement than I think you're prepared for. You know, it was a cute thing, just not so long ago. Now, hey, you might be taking a side. I'm just letting you know.
Oh, word?
Yeah. Hey, free everybody. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel.
Oh, I didn't realize. My bad.
Yeah.
I gotta get up on game.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Well, man, we can land this plane a little bit. But
All right.
what is what are you cooking up next? I mean, it seems like you've done a lot of things in the industry, and now you shot this special. It seems like you're doing something. Oh, I'm doing something for me now. In a sense, is like the next move. Like, all right, now what's Rob Haze?
This special's very selfish. I will say that. It is very selfish. It's also like, you know, an origin story. It's also like, hey, this is what I think is wrong with me. But it's also like, I'm a little petty at the same time. You know, it's a combination. But the next thing is, you know, I think a lot of people are gonna expect all right, what? They're gonna expect the order to things. You know, you ever get tripped up on a word, just like, you know what, I ain't even gonna fool with that.
What are you gonna do, chronologically or chronology?
Chronology. The cousin, chronology. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people probably are expecting chronology.
I didn't know redacted, but I knew chronology.
Okay. All right. That's why we a team. That's
exactly.
why we boys.
That's
you
right.
know?
That's right.
You got one word, I got you share them like the album.
That's right.
But I think the next special is not necessarily the next chapter of my life as much as it's the same thing but a different aspect. Like I think you know, fronting is how I perceive myself, how I'm perceived by others, and the Big Valentine, which is the pending title of the next project, will be more about my experience with love and what that means from various angles. And so, yeah, that's what I'm working on now, and I'm already working on it now.
Whoa! Oh,
Yeah.
so you shot one and you already have one, like the next thing you're working on.
Wow. It's early. It's early.
Right.
Like, I just shot it, so but that's, I know what it's called. I know some of the jokes. I know some of the angles. There's definitely some things that are gonna be in there that I don't know, but that's the next thing stand-up wise. But I got other ideas for stuff. I got ideas for TV shows that I would love to produce, and I have a play in me, I feel like, and so that, you know, I think is needed. I think for our audience that doesn't typically go see plays, you know, and also because I feel like so many plays come from existing material and movies and different properties. It would be fun to try to make something that's, you know, original and unique. And so I have that in me, and also world domination. I plan on taking over the entire planet. You know, like this many people at a time. It's gonna take me a couple billion days. That's all I need. You know what I'm saying? If I talk to this amount of people every day for the next billion days, I'm gonna have the whole world. You know what I mean? Everybody else not trying that method. They trying to reach everybody at once. I'm trying to reach everybody, you know, little by little.
Hey, this was a big start to it today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did y'all?
And I'm sponsored. The next tour is going to be sponsored by Hot Breath Water.
Let's get it.
If you see the Hot Breath Water truck and the Hot Breath Water girls in your city, they giving them out. They got the book bags that's shaped just like this. They'll reach in and give you a Hot Breath water bottle.
My man. Well, I appreciate you doing this, man. This was really, I wanted to, I've just, I've known you since the beginning, and
Yeah.
I've just been a fan of what you're doing, and I'm excited for what you have coming up and the things you're going to be doing. So I really want this, after you film your comedy special, your first debut one, to be like, all right, I want this to be like a time capsule of this moment in your career, kind of like we did with the first episode. So I appreciate you saying yes to do this.
I was going through it the first episode. Like, this one's a little like happier. I don't know. I gotta go back and listen. 2017, I already know. It was a lot going on at that time. Like, I might want to go back and listen to it just to see, if I was okay. But
you did great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did great.
Yeah, this was on a positive note. I'm like, I'm gonna be all right.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. I feel like what's a big takeaway is that you're willing to have an idea and then actually see it all the way through, and you're not afraid to think big, which I think can be very intimidating for a lot of people.
Right.
Including myself, of like trying to, all right, well, okay, I could get to one level, but what if the ceiling, like, what if there was no ceiling, to quote Lil Wayne?
Yeah. But I mean, I think that's important. Thinking big is important. It's like when I saw Kendrick, I was like, oh man, he thought super big. Everybody's like, oh man, rappers can't dance. And it's like, he's got choreographed dancers around him the whole time. And I never felt like, oh man, this is corny. I felt like, man, this is cool. You know what I'm saying? I want to go to Kendrick practice.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy, So yeah, I think that there are no rules. There are no parameters. Anything goes. So let's have fun. Let's shake things up. Let's do things a little different,
Mm-hmm. Big facts. Big facts. Big facts. Big facts. Yes, sir. What's the best place for people to keep up with you?
You can find me at Rob Haze on everything. I finally got the guy on Twitter, aka x.com, to relinquish at Rob Haze. He wasn't using it. He was tweeting like once a year, about his dog or whatever. So now I'm at Rob Haze on there. I'm at Rob Haze on everything.
Dope. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate all y'all for coming out. And Rob Haze, thanks for being on Hot Breath, man.
Yo, thanks for having me. This is so dope. Yeah.
My man. Oh, do we get up?
I don't know.
You're my man. My man. Good stuff.